Well, Maria was out of my life for good. I just didn't know it yet. At least physically. Took her up in March of 94. Took her up in March of 94, and I got my tax return in April, I believe, and I decided that I wanted to do something very spontaneously. I was drunk, started drinking tequila. So a beer drinker before that. I started drinking tequila. I was drunk. I got my tax return one day and decided that I wanted to go to Florida. Vacation. I wanted to see the east side of Florida on the ocean. Hadn't been there before. So it's a bit of a drive, but I drove down there. Well, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was driving down a highway called A1A. Runs right down the coast of Florida. Well, I'm driving, it's like 3:30 in the morning. I was sober at this point. Been smoking weed the whole time down there, rolling up joints, and I see in my rear view mirror, and I'm driving like 50 miles an hour, I'm on a highway. I see in my rear view mirror some yellow lights, a good mile behind me, and I'm like, what is that? Is that a tow truck? Or is that a cop? I didn't know. There were yellow lights, and they were so far behind me I couldn't tell. So I just kept driving. Eventually I figured this must be a cop. So I slowed down. I drove probably 3 miles after I saw the lights for the first time. I said, I wonder why a cop's pulling me over, because I didn't think I was speeding. I was on a highway. I pull over into this little strip mall, and these cops down in Florida jump out of their car. Both of them had their guns drawn on me, screaming, turn the car off, turn the car off. Well, I didn't know what I had done. I had no idea. Turn the car off. The cop opens the door, driver's side door, grabs me and throws me on the ground and handcuffs me behind my back. I'm like, excuse me, officer, what exactly am I being detained for? And he says, right now it's for speeding. Well, I've met a lot of cops. I've met a pretty fair amount of decent ones who have pulled me over while I've been drinking. One of them let me call a cab. These guys were not decent. I hate cops. Well, they go through my ashtray and find a bunch of roaches. I had a bag, too, under my seat cover, which they didn't find. But they found a bunch of roaches. So I was arrested. 3 o'clock in the morning. I was in St. Augustine, Florida, which is the oldest city in the United States. Now, I don't want to split hairs, but I am from Alabama. So, as far as city layout, like we know, a city, Mobile is the oldest city in the United States. Mobile, Alabama. But St. Augustine was a fort, but it is considered the oldest city in the United States. I spent 3 days, I think, in jail. Nice jail. I say they have a nice jail in St. Augustine, Florida. If you ever have to go to jail there. Well, I had plenty of money on the books. At least the cops didn't steal my money on top of everything else. So I called bail bondsman and I got bailed out. Had to go back down there two weeks later. Didn't have any money. Just enough money barely to pay for the gas to get there and back. I had a court date. Did make it. Got a flat tire in Georgia. So I had to call my mother and ask her for some money and tell her to call down there and make sure that that they know that I can't make it to the court date, so I'm not arrested. I went down there, time served. Well, about 2 or 3 years ago, I did a background check on me, because that's what they do when you're looking for a job as a teacher. And according to my background check, that particular arrest was, I was arrested for distribution. In other words, I was a drug dealer, because it was a separate little roaches. Fucking cops. I hate cops. Well, I had missed a phone call from Maria. Now, remember, she called me whenever she wanted to. I would sit 2 weeks, 3 weeks go by, literally, that she was supposed to call and didn't. I missed one phone call from her. And we get in a fight. Well, I said, fuck you, and hung up on her. She didn't call back for 5 months. 5 months. I went to jail again, the 3rd time I went to jail. You're not going to believe this one. You're nuts, Bill. I had a dog. A little puppy. Couldn't control the dog. The dog literally ran into the screen door and ran through the screen and would run outside. It had no collar. It didn't have his shots. 7 or 8 months old. Big puppy. Well, it was running around the neighborhood, and somebody called the dog catcher. Well, the dog catcher had problems with me before, and he didn't like me. So, he wrote me 2 tickets. 2 tickets from a dog catcher. Well, as you can guess, I didn't take it very seriously. There was a court date and everything. Missed the court date. And the next day, this is in the summer, I think. The next day, I get a cop at my door. He asked me if I had the $200 and something that I had to pay for these tickets. $200 and something for a dog running around the neighborhood. I said no, I don't have the money. So guess where I went? To jail. I figure I'm going to have a day, maybe 2. 9 days in jail. I was convicted of failure to control animal. 9 days. Then I'm trying to remember this, you know, as it happened, but I'm going to go ahead, and since I'm basically talking about all the times I went to jail. I then went to jail for theft. I'd stolen some beer. And when I stole the beer, these guys chased me down in the parking lot, tackled me, and then started to kick me repeatedly in the head. I have a huge scar on my leg where it was bottled beer, where the bottles broke. I have been treated like shit my entire life, and things are about to change real soon. Maria called me again. I had started to move on. I had actually met someone else. Another girl who worked in a bar. Sweet girl. God. I had sobered up. Actually. Started to sober up. And she called. Well, trying to figure out how much time I have left here. Not much. She called and I told her that she's either going to come down here to Huntsville and be my wife, or stay up there and not be my wife. But she needs to make the choice. Her family came before me, always, always, always. Even her aunts and uncles and whatever. Primos, cousins. I guess I'm going to have to go over that in the next video. Thank God. It should only take one more to get through this story of Maria. And then we can move on. And maybe, just maybe, I can forget her.